Hello, my name is Miro. Thank you for joining me today and welcome to another planty video. These past few weeks have been, let's not say challenging, but also, yeah. And we have had several heat waves. We are going through yet another heat wave. Thank you for the amazing gift of the heat. And I'm definitely not a summer girly. I do not love summer. I know that there are people out there who cannot wait for it to be over 35 degrees. Not for me. You can put me in a freezer. I will love it. But the summer, no. It's too difficult to cool down, and if you hear the AC going hysterical, well, that's why. And I shall not apologize for the AC noise anymore. But also, just dealing with some external situation and people. Yeah, it's been a interesting week, let's call it like that, to stay positive. So I decided to do some plant chores today that are relaxing. I do have a lot of plant chores, as always. There's always something to do, but I'm not going to pick some of the most pressing and most difficult ones to do, because honestly, not in the mood. I have several Hoyas to restart. I think it's time for me to deal with my Hoya Paradisa. It has tanked after the spotlight video and after the oil treatment. So that's not nice, and I think I will just restart it to get a nicer and fuller plant, but we're just gonna leave that for some future version of myself, not today. Instead, we're just gonna do something relaxing, some relaxing repotting, dealing with plants that look really nice, unboxing a couple of things that have arrived that are plant related, and yeah, that's what we are going to do. I wanted to make this video so I can sort of find some neutral ground again, because as I mentioned previously, I do plan to do a bit of rearranging, and I think I will record that video, reorganizing, rearranging. I'm not really sure how I'm gonna call it, but I think it's, I had several ideas how to deal with this space because of this boy here. I told you he is really in my way when I'm trying to take Hoya photos, and I think I have figured out what to do and how to, have him stay in the room, because I could get rid of him. I don't want to. He's gorgeous, and I do like having like a large philodendron. I already got not entirely rid of one, but it's in the hallway and it's not getting the best care, though it doesn't seem to care about that at all. It's still growing like crazy, and that's my Jerry Horn, absolute beast. And potentially, if this works out the way that I want to, I might be able to bring him back, but most likely not, because there are a couple of things that I want to do, and I don't think that he will leave any space for those things. He's just wild. And I can't really cut him anymore. It's to that point where like there's so much of him that I would have to cut half of the plant to make it fit back in. And then what I'm going to do, I cannot really root over a meter of a philodendron, right? And then I also don't want to chop him into God knows how many cuttings, because there will be difficult to pack and move and etc. But this video is not about that. We are finding some neutral ground, and I hope that this video helps you do that as well. And we will deal with still important plant chores. They definitely need to be done, but they're really not top 3 things that I need to do. They're maybe like in the top 10, and probably like 9 or 10. That's where they are, but it's okay. We will still have something done. I also find it useful, in times like these, when you're going through a period that's, a bit difficult, to really do something else that's not only plant chores. Even though plant chores can be very relaxing, sometimes it's just not what you need. So I'm very grateful that I found several classes on Skillshare, who is kindly sponsoring this video, that helped me do just that. Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creative professionals, with thousands of classes that are led by industry professionals. You can find classes there whether your interests are photography, drawing, maybe botanical drawing, that's sort of in the spirit of the channel, productivity, lifestyle, or really anything else. I myself recently took a class on Skillshare by Mary Noel Worm, Drawing for Self-Care, Mindful Doodling, and Creative Color. I found this class to be very useful for me, because I am someone who used to draw a lot by hand. Actually, someone wanted to go to art school, especially after I went to the US and I sort of got to work even more on those artistic skills, and I was very, very good at it. And it's something that I have been really missing in my life, and unfortunately there isn't much time for that, you know, due to plant chores and everything. But also, like, at the university, I finished architecture, and constantly there was, you know, you do work on the computer, but there was a lot of sketching by hand, you know, this sort of flow of ideas from your head through your hand. And it is something that I really found that I miss. Unfortunately, this skill, because it is a skill, I believe, is something that I have not really lost over the years, but it's sort of like if you don't use it, it's not gonna be that great, right? You're not gonna be that great at it. And I have repeatedly tried to get back into sketching, into drawing, and I was always a bit disappointed with the results. It's kind of like you didn't draw something in years and you try to do it again and it really looks awful. And it was something that prevented me to kind of keep getting better at it because, hello, I'm very self-critical, but the class that I took by Mary Noel Worm actually helped me overcome this a bit, because the sole purpose of the class is to sort of refresh, to start this creative process again, to, you know, ease yourself into it and to make time for artistic self-care. It is also not the only class that I took by Marie Noel. I took another class, and I think this is something that I mentioned before, how I want to get into sort of digital art and essentially botanical drawing, but via the iPad, because digital art is all the rage. And I wanted to get into botanical illustrations. And there is actually a class that is called Art Composition Fundamentals, Exploring Value, Contrast, Shape, and Balance in Procreate or Pen and Ink. And for those of you who know, Procreate is an app that you use on iPad for digital art. And also, like, when you get into something for the first time, like, you know, using Procreate to create art, the results are a little bit kindergarten level and very disappointing when, like, you are an adult and you create something like that. Again, if you're very critical like me. But I found Mary to be just a very good teacher, very encouraging, and her classes to be sort of very lighthearted, and so it doesn't feel like there is any pressure to create something that's going to be exceptional. So I can say that both of these classes have been very helpful for me to sort of get a little bit over something that is apparently called perfectionist paralysis. So thank you, Mary and Skillshare, for that. But also, if you're looking to take your career, your side hustle, your hobbies, or your interests to the next level, Skillshare is the right place for you. There is really a class for any topic that you can think of. There is sewing as well, just anything that I thought of I could find on Skillshare, and the classes are both fun and interactive. Most of the classes do have some small tasks or projects that you can complete, and you can also see what other people have done, so you also get this sense of a community. There are also cases where there are several videos on one topic. For example, when I was looking up Procreate, there are many videos on that topic. And if you are unsure how to start, like I was, there is something that is called learning paths. And essentially, learning paths will take your skills from the novice level to a pro level. These are hand-picked classes, and they are meant to be taken in the certain order because they do build one on another and sort of level up your skill that way. After finishing my classes on drawing, I decided to start a learning path on Procreate Basics, get started with the digital illustrations, and I can already see when I finish that one, there is another learning path that can actually take my skills to the professional level. If you would like to join me on my learning journey, the first 500 people to use my link in the description will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. So get started today. Thank you so much, Skillshare, for sponsoring this video, and now it is time to start with the plant chores and other miscellaneous chores. Is that how you say it? Miscellaneous? I think it is. Well, we're not gonna question that. Maybe I should take a class on learning how to talk. Is there? Probably there is. I definitely think I should have moved some of these things that I have next to me. This is one order, by the way. I don't know why they didn't use one box. They sent me an order in like one, 2, this is definitely the potting mixes, and 3 packages. I mean, I understand why it's not 1 box, but also the postman, he was kind of confused and he charged me for half an order because he only scanned 1/2, and I'm like, that's actually not enough money that I need to pay. And then he found the other box. So we have potting mixes here, pots, and some lights. I'm not sure if they gave me a discount. It was $5 cheaper than it was supposed to be, or if they just forgot to pack something. It arrived days ago and I was really supposed to open it earlier. I was supposed to start this video earlier, but like, let's not talk about things that I was supposed to do. And I got the lights for my Rodsta cabinet. I use the same lights in this one, so I want to switch them to this one. This is just a regular LED light, and these are like supposed to be grow lights. I can't remember, was it Patricia, but someone messaged me on Instagram, and they said that these lights sometimes can be a bit tricky, like if you bend the cable or if they get damaged, they can explode. So that's nice. And I think like they have the same brand in other countries too. So I don't know, I haven't had any issue with the lights yet. I find them super easy to install and I'm so far quite happy. They could be cheaper, but I will always say that for everything, you know. I didn't also know how many lights to order, so I ordered just 1. These cabinets have 1 on each level. The glass is very filthy, please don't look. But I'm also showing you, so I'm making you look. But you can see my hoyas are very close to those lights. And because these are terrarium plants, I don't think they will need more light, but in case that I do need more light, I can daisy chain them. I think that's the expression, so I can just buy 1 more. It is cheaper to buy 2 lights right away, but I'm just not sure if I will need it. I probably could use the light somewhere else, but I don't know. I was trying to save money, which always ends up in me not saving money in the long term. And then I got another light. I'm sorry, will I open the box already? But I got another light for the top of my Rodsta, so you don't see that. So I essentially got a light to put above these hoyas. I will move things around, so these hoyas are probably going to be in a different spot. They will still be on top of the rod, so you will see, but I will need to figure out a way to hang that light that I got. And the light that I got, I also used in my grow tent. It's very cheap, actually. It's cheaper than the small one that I got for my cabinet. It's around $15. Again, allegedly a grow light. But the reason why I got it is because I don't have to do any electronic work myself. With the hardware store lights, I do have to do that, and I'm just not in the mood for it. Okay, I love the pots. I was looking for more high quality pots, so they are not the cheapest. I'm gonna take a look at the receipt and tell you. The smaller pots are 20 cents, I think. This is like around 20 cents, which is not expensive, but similar square pots are actually 10 cents in a local store, but they are very easy to bend. These are just higher quality, very good actually, high quality plastic. Those, the one that I used before, especially like when selling plants, those tend to crack, so you cannot reuse them that many times. I love these. These are going to be perfect for my begonias, honestly also for Hoyas. I am a bit confused. They seem to be quite big. They're 9 centimeters. Okay. I did think these are going to be smaller, so I might take a look and see if they have just one size smaller. These are going to be good for my bigger begonias, like this one that I want to repot. This is species Julau. It's looking okay. It has been underwatered, so yeah, it is what it is. But I think that's going to be good. Boop. Yeah, that's going to be okay. I know it's a little bit big now, but I really want to repot it. And then this one, which I forgot its name, but I will write it on the screen. It's a perfect size for that. I am slightly confused why I got the big pots. So I might need to make another order. I got 30 of the small pots, so they are around $8, all 30 of them. I got these pots, which honestly love, So all hydroponic store. These are more expensive and these are 13 centimeters. I think these are gonna be good for some Hoyas that are larger, that are bigger. That makes me very happy that I found these. And these are 40 cents per pot. I got 15 of those, which I think is an overkill. I don't think I need so many. And then this is one of the lights. It doesn't say even what the brand is. It says Clone LED. I'm not going to sure, I will unbox the light. I'm not going to unbox the light and then I unbox it. So this is what it looks like. And then you can just easily connect it. You do have to buy a cable separately, which I think is evil. And so you just screw the cable in. And then on the other side, you would daisy chain them. You would connect more. I think you can do up to 30. So I'm going to put that back. So that one light was around, wow. So that light was $38. I think that's expensive, but okay. And the cable was like $5, which again, I think it's so rotten to charge separately for the cable. And then let's just open the potting mix. I got coco husk, which needs to be buffered with CalMag. And I actually think I got a buffering solution. Hold on, I need to check my order. I am a little bit concerned they forgot something, which would make sense. Yep. So I ordered 2 5 liters of vermiculite and they only sent 1. So no discount, they just didn't send everything that I ordered, which, yeah. So this is the buffering solution that I got. I've never used this. I actually didn't even know this exists. Very oddly shaped bottle. It's just a very sus bottle. Yeah, I think like this is supposed to be the clever measure. I have to look at the instructions at how to use this measure. Can we just attach the measure separately? I have heard of this company before. And again, this is just not sponsored or anything. I'm using this for the first time and I will let you know how it works. So this is for coco coir and coco husk. Coco coir that I buy is buffered already. It's by Plagrun, whatever, however you pronounce that. And it says that it's buffered, but I have not been able to find anywhere coco husk that has been buffered. So you will need to buffer it yourself. The instructions are in a language that I don't understand, but this is essentially calcium and magnesium. And I have used calcium and magnesium before, just like in a CalMag type of a product, but this was cheaper than that product. So this is the one that I already have. It's an incredible amount of bubble wrap. I think this is around like $15 plus a bit more for the plug. The big grow lights are just a bit too far away from those Hoyas and the Rotsta. So we definitely need a bit more supplemental light, but they're good for the hanging plants on the wall. So I hope this works. I'm not going to test any of the lights, though I probably should. This is 120 centimeters, so this is much bigger, wider than the Rotsta. I actually initially planned to cover both of these Rotstas, which would be almost okay. I think both of the Rotstas are 160. This is 120, so there will be like, there would have been a bit of space that's not covered by the light, but now it's just going to be a different setup, so it's going to be too wide. I've been growing plants for such a long time now, and I know that like whether you're growing on a shelf, in a cabinet, on a Rotsta, wherever, the lights are either going to be too short or too long. It's never, almost never the correct length. Anyway, shut up. I'm going to start working. Before we begin with the repot of the plants, I just have to show you a couple of epicenias. Actually 4 of them, that's not a couple. One of them is new, but you have seen me repot in the video, I think 3 weeks ago, and that was pretty much real time. Maybe I recorded that video a couple of days before publishing, which I don't typically do, but we're kind of late in the past couple of weeks, and these have just grown so much. You have seen how small they were, and as soon as they got bigger pot, they just exploded with growth, and I am living living. This is Aloha Mauna Loa. And then one of my favorites is this Northern Light. Like, girl gave me a whole new, it's not a vine, it's like stolons. But what? I just love it. Like, essentially the vibe that I'm going for, just that, but all around the pot. And we're gonna get there. I see 3 or 4 more starting, and that's just essentially what I want to get. That look all around the pot, and then to keep it maybe at that length. And then the rest I will probably cut off and propagate and whatnot. And then my favorite until a couple of weeks ago when I got a new one was this Dominica, because of these stunning leaves. And she also grew quite a bit. She is starting to push out these stolons too. I think they would all grow big if it was like a planter that is sort of rectangular, so they could root as they grow. Then all of the leaves would be big. They're not going to be so big when they grow like this. I think maybe it can make some big leaves, but essentially they're not going to be as big, which is fine. You know, it's going to be biggest at the base. It's amazing. I love it. And then the new one that I got, it's really my favorite. It's called Pink Brocade. Like, I don't understand. How can we not all grow this? This is just such a perfect plant. The coloration is perfect. It's actually, it's pink and white and like silver and green. It is so stunning. I know there are a lot of pink, or there are a lot of these white pink episthias out there, but I have one that I think is pink smoke. That one has tiny leaves. This one is like 50 million times better, because this is the vibe. This is the vibe. This is my favorite plant at the moment, I swear. One of you gave me or told me to visit the website Another World Terraria, because we're going to be repotting some terrarium plants today. And it's a very good resource. I think this guy, he also has a YouTube channel, and I watched several of the videos. I already got some crazy ideas from those videos, which I must absolutely be prevented to do at all cost. Someone needs to just tie my hands. On Matthew's website, Another World Terraria, there are several terrestrial mixes. Unfortunately, I cannot get all of the ingredients, so I'm gonna try to do as best as I can. I think what I'm going to do is that I'm going to use pumice, sphagnum moss, bark, potentially coco peat, vermiculite. So those are the things that we're working with today. I just have a bit of my Hoya mix here. I've been really spilling this mix all over the place. I've been really loving this mix, and my plants have been loving this mix too. I can just give you a quick update on how some of them are doing. It's a really good mix. This is moss, bark, a bit of cocoa husk, and pumice. When I was outside, this was maybe a month ago or so, you saw me repot very small plants into this mix. I'm just gonna take a moment here to show you. I don't think you have seen me pot this one. Let's just try to keep it open like this. But you can see that this plant, which I think is Rima Splash, might be wrong. Didn't learn the name yet. I will put the correct name. It's a very cute one. This is from Tima. You didn't see this. She sent me this a month ago or so. Very cute. Started to grow. But you can see here how well this rooted. It was rooted first in sphagnum. I'm gonna show you what you have seen me repot in the videos. For example, like this, it still didn't start to grow. It kind of takes a long time from what I hear to start to grow. This is Hoya ID. So this had 2 leaves, one of them was yellow, that fell off, so we have one more. And that one arrived yellow, so we knew it was gonna fall off, and this one is also not the best. But once it starts to grow, apparently it's supposed to be much faster. But you can just see how great those roots are. This was recently repotted, maybe not even a month ago. It's not in self-watering. It was watered several days ago, so that's why it's still wet. But moreover, this one rotted in shipping, unfortunately. But I was able to save it. It was a larger cutting. Now it's no longer larger cutting. This I got from Tima as multiflora mini leaves. And those are essentially as big as the leaves are gonna get. But you can just see, this was recently rooted. Maybe I repotted this into this pot 2 weeks ago or something like that, 3. And it's just crazy how they love this mix. I took some of the Hoyas out that we will repot, and they seriously need a repot. This one is Locantha, and this is from Stephanie. You know, it has seen better days. It is severely underwatered most of the time, so I have found it to be actually quite resilient. It's in this tiny cup, and it's very well rooted. It will go into a larger pot today. I don't know. I think this is maybe a bit too big, but at the same time, I think she will grow really well into it. So I think that's where I'm gonna put it. And then I have this one, which again, I forget the name. This is not identified species yet, but it's traded often as species caviar, species jabar, one of those. I'll write the name, how it's often traded. That one, Tima sent me her only plant, and I will have to find a way to send a cutting back to her. We were a bit afraid that it was not gonna make it. I'm already making a mess. And then this verticillata that was supposed to be splashy, this is from Farah. Unfortunately, with me, it's just not maintaining the splash or the silver. This is similar to that verticillata black margin as it's sold. You can see one of the leaves is full silver, but with me they have just been not that. Again, if we would just focus, darn it, that bottom leaf is full silver. I think it's in too much light. It's really challenging to maintain splash sometimes. But anyway, we're gonna make a mix now for some of the begonias. We're gonna do a lot of begonia repotting and then those 3 Hoyas. And I sort of tried to do a thing here and I was not very successful. I ordered bark from Equigenera and it's Orchid Bark +2. And it's an okay size for a Hoya. I don't know how to show you and not to make a mess. See, it's an okay size for a Hoya, but it's a little bit too big for begonias because I want to use it in a begonia mix. So I tried to do something that wasn't very smart, and that is to make it smaller by grinding it in a food processor. It didn't work out. I lost a lot of the bark. You can see, this is actually essentially, I have to move my camera because it's not gonna focus really well. Essentially the granulation that I was going for is something like that. Like the smaller pieces there. But the issue with that is that you get a lot of dust. So essentially, I tried to do a couple of more batches, but I sort of gave up because I was destroying a lot of the bark. So we're just gonna start with this. It is slightly smaller, but it's not very small. Don't get me wrong, there are small parts here, but most of it is not very small. We will use this as the base. To this, I will add pumice, and I think this is going to be too small because I want to add more moss. You know, we'll just try and see what it's like. So I will use pumice and vermiculite, and if I so desire, coco husk. And I just want to show you, if I didn't sit on the plants and kill them, my species Julau is actually in a similar mix. And it's a good mix, they like it. Like there is bark, pumice, vermiculite, etc. But it was a bit challenging to keep that watered in the small IKEA greenhouse. But I think in Radsta, because those plants get sprayed every couple of hours, it's going to be easier. Vermiculite is supposed to be good for water retention and also drainage, so it has like a good water retention capabilities. That was a bit too much, maybe. That was a bit too much, perhaps. So this is the stage where we are at. I think a bit more vermiculite. We really have no concept of a bit more, do we? Now, he does use chopped sphagnum. I don't know. I don't think I will chop mine. I will just add it. And I think I can just add all of it. So I'm actually liking this top layer here. But I think when we mix it in, it's not going to be enough of moss. So we may need to hydrate a bit more moss. So we are looking for a mix that is going to be able to retain moisture, but it's also going to be able to stay fluffy. That's what we're looking for. I have a great mix here, but I will do something that might mess it up. So I want to add a bit of coco peat. Okay, let's see. Maybe it's not going to mess it up. Oh, it's actually okay. I do want to now add a bit of perlite too. But I'm honestly liking this mix quite a lot. I feel like an Italian mother cooking. That's what I feel like. Even though I'm not an Italian, nor a mother. But you know how they present the Italian mother in the TV show? It's like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. My mother cooks like that too. It's like, you just add a bit of it. I'm like, what is a bit? Like, for some of us, a bit can mean a teaspoon. For some of you, a bit is like a tablespoon, right? Yeah, okay, we're gonna leave it there. So we're gonna use mostly these pots and then put the mix. I'm gonna get some begonias here. Okay, all of these I want to repot. These are all grown in almost pure peat. So this will be maybe a welcome change, maybe not. Let's start with this. This one is so nice. So I think I'm just gonna essentially leave the plug. Maybe in some cases I will break it down a bit, but I don't think I will, because it's gonna damage a lot of the roots too. These are also thirsty. So let's try the method that I told you, which is most likely not gonna work with this mix, by the way, because this mix is very porous, but let's give it a go. Wow, that totally worked. Love it. I will have to add a label. This is going to go on the bottom of the rotsta. Some of them will look ridiculous because they are small, but they are all gonna grow into it. I'm not concerned about putting them into slightly larger pot. I was looking up the pots if they have slightly smaller ones. They don't. And they don't have smaller than this, so it's either this or that. Those are like the two sizes, so you go from this to this. And maybe that's not so terrible, like I can see how that can be an upgrade, but I wish there were a couple of sizes, at least one size in between, or even two, and a size smaller, but what we want is not always what we get. This is haripoi. I don't know if I'm gonna put this on the bottom, or if I'm gonna put it on the wall of the rotsta. For now, I think bottom, but we'll see. This one did go super dry at one point, which I am extremely apologetic for. Begonias just have very fine roots. I don't want to mess with that. I'm sure that like this will be fine to leave that mix. I think it's just going to be a lot of unnecessary stress, you know? That one is so cute, actually. I was a bit unsure, but I think she's going to grow into a very nice begonia. Now, this is, as we know, one of my favorites. Also, this is Chloristica. It's growing really well. Oh, we forgot the method. One more thing that I forgot to tell you or show you is the way that I sort of plan to hang these. I don't know if this is gonna work because I haven't checked. Oh, it barely fits. It's a tight fit. So I'm gonna use these plastic thingies and this IKEA clip. Do they fit together now? They do. So this is how I'm gonna hang them to the side of the rotsta. And then I can potentially bottom water, I don't know, we'll see. And I'm probably gonna go for all the same color, maybe like dark gray, so they match. Yeah, I don't think this is making it to the bottom. I mean, I could just hang them like this, right? Put this here and hang them, but you know, then when I water it, it's all gonna drip, so I don't know. We'll see. This one is not gonna get hanged. This is, that also sounds super ominous. This is gonna go on the bottom. I just love the look of the begonia and the pot and the mix. I don't know if this African begonia is going to love this mix. I think she might want to be on the dry side, but hey, this is Capigera. I also have kept it dry and I don't see that she's thriving dry. Some of the other ones that I kept a bit more moist have done better, so I don't know also why I kept it dry. Just because it's an African begonia does not mean that it grows in a super dry area. And you know, we'll see how this mix does. Maybe it's gonna do terribly and then we will have to repot again. So, you know, allow for mistakes. That's what we're doing. Allowing for mistakes, allowing for learning. If you don't mess up, you're never gonna learn, right? You're never gonna know why something worked. Even though I do wish that I could just grow everything without actually learning anything. Like, let's not make a mistake. I now see that mostly vermiculite is escaping me. This is Borkelii. I don't know how I feel about her. Sometimes, maybe it's just this leaf that's very wonky. Maybe if I cut off those two leaves, I think in higher light it will be more compact. I think in her conditions, she maybe grew it in slightly lower light so we can see that the petiole is very elongated and now they're getting a bit more compact. So yeah, maybe I will like it a bit more then. I don't dislike the leaf. I really actually like the leaf. I think it's very interesting. There are some different forms of Borkelii. I have this one, and it's probably the most common one. I promise you there are begonia pros out there who are probably screaming at me for using this mix, but I honestly did not have so many challenges. At first I thought they're not gonna like it, but they sort of do. But we'll see how they grow. Maybe these hate it. Yeah, I don't think we will need to add a lot more to that. And I will write the name because currently I cannot remember what it's called. I'm running low on the mix. This one is also going to go on the bottom. I think this one is going to be a gorgeous plant. The really only issue is that you don't want to know. I can't even tell you how many times I underwatered it. It went limp. Like, it looked like wilted salad in your fridge that you bought because you're starting to eat healthy. But then you're like, that wasn't really a realistic plan. That's how this plant looked like. That wilted bag of spinach that all of us have. Even though I love spinach, sometimes I get really optimistic about how much I will use up in a week. So I think considering that, she is looking great. So I'm gonna put her aside. And I also love that she's kind of compact. Same with the next one. She got underwatered many times, so we really cannot blame me. I mean, we can, and we should. I'm just gonna cut off some of the dead ends. I will most likely propagate this one very soon anyway. Ooh, nasty. I like how that was centered and no longer is. I think we're gonna have to figure something out pretty soon because I'm running out of the mix. Yeah, we essentially have enough for 3 more plants, and then it's it. Okay, oh, I forgot to tell you the name of this one. Yeah, I'm worried that this one is not gonna love it. But we'll see. This is bullatifolia. Maybe she will. I cannot tell you how satisfying these pots are. I look at them, I don't know why, but they make me extremely happy. I just find it so satisfying. This is Wanda. I do think this is some sort of a... Oh my gosh, it's so cute. I will take a short break actually right now because I need to make more mix. It will be larger bark, but such is life. Maybe we oversaturated the mix with vermiculite. Something to think about. It's not terrible. It's just like what I'm left here is bark and vermiculite, which is okay. I don't think the plants would hate it, but it's essentially, it's not what I made, right? The last one that we're putting is this stouty, which again, don't know about that name being correctly spelled. I really want this to make flatter leaves, and I think it needs to crawl on something. I think this is that type of a begonia that sort of crawls. I'm very pleased that this rooted. We're definitely going to reuse that moss. We are so low, and I only used it to root this plant, so we need everything right now. Yeah, I'm not going to remove the rest of that moss. I think this plant in general also likes to stay a bit more moist. I'm just going to put it in the same pot, but with a hole, which is not this one. I don't think we're going to have enough of the Hoya mix either. I really am sorry if I ever offend people who like pon, but I'm just loving, so far, my return to organic mixes. I'm loving it, and I can't apologize for it. Locanta is going to go into this. I think I'm going to put it more to the side so we can make a trellis, even though I think I would like it more without one. The thing with Locanta, it is a big Hoya. It's a small Hoya, small leaf Hoya, but I think it's going to get quite big. It's a fast grower. So I think if I don't trellis it, it's going to look messy, but if it could kind of stay similar to this size, I would put it in the rotsta on the side. But I think for now I should plan to trellis it. For that reason, I'm going to just put it more, I mean, I can still, if I decide to grow it somehow hanging, I can still do that even if it's more to the side. But I think it's just going to get one of those nice trellises. I should actually make my life easier and rotate it a bit in the pot. And then with verticillata, I just think I'm going to do pure coco husk. I'm obsessed with these pots. I'm going to say it 1,000 more times in this video. And I'm not going to say I'm sorry for that. I think I'm also going to trellis her, so more to one side. They love coco husk. They really do. Someone said that tree fern is amazing. Nothing roots Hoya like tree fern. Have you tried coco husk? Because believe me, you can root a Hoya super fast. I've tried to root Hoyas in most things. Haven't tried tree fern. And I know I said I wasn't going to get it, but now I'm like, I want to try it. I'm not going to get hooked on it, but I just want to try it and compare it with this coco husk. I think maybe the benefit of the tree fern is, you know, probably you don't have to buffer that. Everything has some flaws. This is cheap, you have to buffer it. Easily accessible. Tree fern, not so much easily accessible, quite expensive, in my opinion. We are going to stop now, and I will return to you with hopefully more mix and moss. Hello and welcome to the second day of plant chores. I did not have any more time yesterday to continue repotting, so we will do it today. I just recorded a Hoya of the Week video, so I'm already a bit tired, but I just wanted to show you a couple of things before we get into the plant chores. And we're actually going to fix this plant because I put this trellis inside after I repotted it, which is not the right order of steps. But I find this pretty interesting, and it shows you really why it's not actually reliable to ID Hoyas only based on the leaves. So these grew in higher light and lower light, and then we're back to higher light because I keep moving things around. But you can just see, if you were to judge just by some of these leaves, you would most likely mis-ID this plant. By judging by the bigger leaves, you might say, oh, something like a lacunosa perhaps, or an abavanensis. But this is Hoya pusilla, so it's quite difficult actually with Hoyas to ID them. I always wanted to do a video to find the most odd looking leaves, because sometimes, you know, people when they ask for ID, they sort of ask based on non-standard leaves, right? But we will re-trellis this and we will fix that trellis too. And then I wanted to give you an update on a couple of plants. If you remember, I got this, I think, in late spring. I told you I don't like this plant. When I got it, it kind of looked ugly, and now she is improving. There are a couple of leaves still that, you know, maybe these 4 that are looking a bit ugly. You can see that I cut off some parts. It needed some time to stabilize, but this is Alocasia batik. That is what I got it under, and I'm actually quite liking it now. There are 3 plants in the pot. We can see one little pop there, and then 2 bigger plants. I thought about separating them. I'm not really sure. The roots have filled out the pot really nicely. So that's good. It's growing well. I am still waiting for it to grow a little bit larger. I do wonder, I haven't looked really at the mature specimens, but I'm wondering how this will size up. So far it seems to be that she's gonna remain compact, but I was actually hoping to get quite a big, or like at least a medium variegated Alocasia. And then a couple of more updates about some other plants. I wanted to show you, I showed this plant 2 weeks ago, and this is Hoya occultata. You saw me repot it exactly 2 weeks ago. And actually at the time of repotting, because I recorded that video a little bit ahead, I told you that the flowers of Hoya occultata red turn yellow in about a couple of weeks, and they just ever so slightly started to turn. This is Hoya that stays in bloom for a long time, at least 3-4 weeks. And I don't know, initially I may have said in that video that it's in bloom for a couple of weeks, but it's obviously longer because it's been at least that, and she's still not turning red. So maybe in the next week's video you will see another update of this plant, but let me just grab it for you. Now, I don't know how well you will be able to see. She's still very much yellow, but you can start to see on the edge of those flowers that they are starting to get some coloration. It's very slow, actually, this change. So it will take a bit more, maybe several more days, and then it should turn more red, but you can definitely see here. And then I know this sounds crazy, but if you have occultata yellow, if you have them side by side, you will definitely know that this is not supposed to happen. You can see here that blushing. It sort of starts like that, and then it goes red. Quite an interesting plant. I do wish it was red from day 1, but you know, what are you gonna do? We have a couple of more updates. I wanted to show you update on my anthurium, Affinity basie, whatever. She's doing really well. A bit slow of a plant, but she just pushed out this new leaf. So to all of my anthurium lovers, how sexy. So these are the 2 older leaves. So this was the leaf before it. So it's actually a nice size up, and it's still not fully hardened off, so we may get a little bit bigger. I do want to experiment on it a bit, which I will let you know if the experiment goes well. Yeah. Anyway, and then my crystallinum. This is the silver blush and dusty blush. This was the previous leaf. You saw me repot it and I told you it kind of looks ugly because I really neglected it and it dried out multiple times, so you can definitely see. And then I didn't repot it, and it seems to me that anthuriums really do want to be repotted relatively frequently. They don't want to really be root bound because it gave me quite a small leaf. After that, we got this. So that's much smaller. And then as I was repotting it, it sized up to this, and now it's making a new leaf here. So I can't wait to see what that will look like. It's going to be much larger. And, you know, anthuriums. You can't never know until it is fully developed what it will look like. My hair is falling out of the bun. Disobedient. Anyway, let's just do one more and then we will get into the plant chores, okay? This is that forgetti that I repotted, and after repotting the leaves sort of, you know, this happened. Not the sexiest. And then it just pushed out this leaf. So I don't know, can we tell? We can kind of tell. It is larger, maybe 1 times larger. So I'm glad to see that. They all started to grow after the repot, which makes me incredibly happy. Now, I do have coffee with me. Love it. Do not ever leave me. I think what we will first do is sort of retrellis this Hoya. Oh, and before we move on, this Calathea is still alive. She's looking okay. She needs to be watered. The dry tips, I never manicure, so let's manicure her a bit, getting rid of some dry tips. And there was a very ugly leaf here. Yeah, I'm just gonna cut off this entire leaf. Yeah, I don't think I can reach this. And this one arrived with some damaged leaves, but the new leaves seem perfectly fine. But yeah, I do need to fill out that reservoir to make sure she is at all times moist, but she's looking okay. I do like adding this to my collection. I'm really happy about it, actually. Can't do serious business with your hair let down. We did not come here to play, we came to slay. You can quote me on that. This Hoya pusilla, let's get her. Oh no. Oh, this is gonna be hard. Because I did not expect her to outgrow the pot. Not ideal, but I'm really annoyed that I did this because these trellises keep coming out. So really what you should do is not what I did. Yeah. Guess who broke those roots? So put the trellis all the way in first. And then you're not going to be annoyed. I'm not really looking to size this up. I'm glad I saved it though. This plant almost died on me. It was in a more regular mix. I think maybe coco peat and perlite. And I know that it doesn't like so much water. So I don't know why I put it in that mix, and I did actually manage to rot off the roots. Now, it was most likely dry rot, as it always is with me, but it seems to be doing better in this mix. This one has leaves that are very close to one another. The internodal space is not that big, so I will obviously reuse these that I have from her, but I'm gonna cut them in half so I can get, instead of one, I can get thinner strips. I mean, it's not the most exciting work, but hey, at least we will save on this and it will look a little bit prettier. And if we have an opportunity to cut off our finger, we should always take it. Wow. All right, I'm quite happy with that. Would you just not look at my face and look at the plant? Now we can start with the terrarium plant repot, or we can continue. I left the plants outside there behind me. I'm so in love with the pots. I know I went on and on and on yesterday about how much I'm obsessed, but I honestly am obsessed. Look how cute they all look. let me just adjust the camera. Shut your face. That is just the cutest. I mean, oh my gosh, I love them. I love them so much. I love them. What we need to do is put them someplace where I will not sit on them. We have the mix here, and it's essentially the same mix that I made yesterday, but I just left the bark intact this time, and I put a less vermiculite because we saw what happened yesterday. And this is all the moss I have. I used like half of the moss here, and I made a Hoya mix because I want to repot some Hoyas. Okay, so I'll take these out. Yeah, look at that. I can't repot it now. It got so dry. I don't know why it got so dry. Because like this is soaking wet. This is super dry. They were next to one another. Why this mix didn't get any water from the mister is beyond me. So that one, I will actually quickly go and water that. So sorry you have to see that. That's very unfortunate because she cannot take much of those moments. This plant didn't need much water at all. It was just recently that she started to become very thirsty. So don't really know what's going on, but she's in water now. We will see if she will potentially hydrate by the end of this video. Also, my friend told me this is the shoot from Markgravia. It's not a different plant. Oh, such sexy foliage. Let's get the other ones out. You can absolutely see that some of these are super wet, so we'll have to just figure out that cabinet a little bit more. I'm just still amazed by this begonia. This is most likely my favorite begonia. And it is gonna look a bit silly maybe in this pot. Is she gonna look silly? I have a slightly smaller pot, so maybe I will put it in that one, but that needs to be washed. And I am gonna tell you right now, if I need to wash a pot, I'm not gonna do it now. I'm gonna do it off camera and repot the plant off camera. So we may or we may not repot this begonia pteriformis on camera. But, oh, she's so beautiful. We do have one that I want to repot, and maybe we should start with that one right away. It is the most nerve-wracking for several reasons, so let's just get it out of the way, right? Why did I need to discover that there are so many other beautiful plants is beyond me. Like, I just was watching my own business. We have this one. And while I'm here, I'm gonna give you actually an update on another one and we can check it together. This other one, I barely water. And I think maybe it's time to actually water this one. This one we can see it's quite humid. This is the U012, I think. She's doing well. I don't think she can do in the Rotsta well. She just really needs a consistent humidity. So really, this is a cloche plant. It's beautiful, but I don't want to risk it in the Rotsta. So I'm just gonna leave it under the dome. And you know, I need to get a bigger dome because she's reaching the limit of this one. The next one I think can be grown in the Rotsta because I'm not gonna have crazy high humidity in there. I don't know how I'm gonna take this out without breaking the leaf. That's just not gonna be a great situation. Whoop! Okie dokie, that was easy. The label on this one is lost on me. So it's, you can see here what it says. It's exactly that. I have it in one of my lists. It has grown significantly. It had only one leaf when it arrived, so yeah, she's gonna get a bigger pot and she's going to be put in the Rotsta cabinet. And I'm just not removing this coco, or it's not coco, this peat. Nice roots there too. I'm not removing the peat. I just really don't want to disturb the roots, and I don't think we're gonna gain anything significant by doing that. I could be wrong, of course, and you are allowed to say in the comments that that's not the move. It is the move that I'm gonna go with, you know. It seems I do have a bit more moss in this mix. Whoop. What a nice new home for her. Just cover it. We're not gonna overdo it. Oh my gosh, so pretty. So, so, so pretty. It maybe doesn't stand out so much against the moss currently, but I believe she's gonna enjoy the terrarium a lot. I don't know where to put them once I'm done with them. I'm so obsessed with plants that look like this. I don't know why. I know I said before that I don't like Hoyas that grow like that. Hi, my mind has been changed. I do, I love it. I only want to grow plants that grow like that now. Take the begonia. Check on the roots, everything seems in order. Bloop. You know, I should have thought about mounting this. Instead of going like that, I should have gone straight, but I'm not gonna change it now because I'm gonna hang it here. So when they are all on the wall, because I'm gonna put these on the wall of the Rotsta, they can all sort of, you know, face the same direction. But maybe it will be interesting to have them face different directions. I don't know. Just beauty, beauty. Let's do this begonia. So pretty. I'm just gonna put this here. Ooh. I'm just gonna put this here so I can be a little bit faster and make less mess. Yeah, that's much faster than showing everything to you. Oh, didn't do it well. You know what would be cool if I discovered, and sometimes this happens, where I discover that I have like a bunch of moss. Like I recently discovered 2 unopened packages of bark. That would be so cool. Because I checked the prices here and people who import moss are really charging a lot for it. Okay, so these are going to be a little bit different to repot. So I guess I can put them here. Oh boy, here we go. I have no idea what's going to happen. This mix is just very different. Yeah. I'm just going to leave that on and put the plant in here so I can repot it. That mix is just very, very different than what I have in mind. So she's either going to absolutely hate it or she's going to love it. Hopefully it's love. Let's analyze that mix a bit. I see a lot of sand, lava rock, perlite, pumice. I think it's mostly sand. Yeah, it's almost like cactus mix. It's not gonna work here for me. But of course, if it works for you, you use that mix, right? You use whatever works for you. This one too, I'm going to now remove. It seems to me there's actually, it's spawn. It is spawn mixed with organic matter. That's what this is. And that's good. But I think it's just a bit too fine for me, for my taste. Maybe I'm completely wrong and the plants will die. But I'm willing to give it a go. You know what? Maybe I can pin this down. I don't know if this is going to work on emblemanthas, but to get more roots, I think it should work. I really should look how these grow in nature to see if they will benefit from being pinned down, but maybe they will. I typically avoid to bury the stems, but this one is sort of laying flat here, so I think I will stabilize it and it will look good that way. Sorry that you can't see maybe all that much right now, but it's just much easier this way. Now this one is in moss. I honestly will leave it. I think it will be just so damaging to the roots if I start removing this moss, and here we are. I think it will be such a bad idea if I start removing this moss, proceeds to remove moss. This is what I do. This is what I always do, because I started to do it now, and I see that maybe it's not going to be so hard. I'm going to water these after I repot them, and I'm not going to fertilize them. If you have any recommendation for fertilizer, I am currently out even of my Hoya fertilizer. I need to order more. Yeah, what do you fertilize your terrarium plants with? Just nothing? Because I can just water them with RO water. Like, I can mix RO water with tap water, like just a bit of tap water, so it's not really just RO water, because that's nothing. And I can water with that. I think I used to use BioBiz Organic. I think a really, really light fertilizer. I don't think they need to be heavily fertilized. You know, if I use something like leaf litter in the mix, and if I had isopods, that would be enough, I think, but I don't. So I think like just a very, very gentle fertilizer. I'll have to look up on the internet, and I bet that most of the pages will say no, that they don't fertilize, that they just have the bugs and decomposing matter. Yeah, we'll see. Hey, 2020, right? I could just do that, just a very heavy fertilizer, and see what happens then. These, like begonias, have very sensitive roots, and if the mix was different, I wouldn't remove it, because I'm removing a lot of the roots here. So if this plant starts to tank a little bit, well, we know why. Okay, actually, this was less scary than I thought. Let's do the margravia. So I will dispose of this moss. I don't reuse moss that didn't come from my environment. I don't know. I know some people do, but I try not to. So margravia, again, I will tell you I'm not going to remove the moss, but you will absolutely see me rip it apart. This has, I know people say this is algae. I'm just going to go very briefly into this. I don't believe what we have in our pots is algae. I believe what we have is cyanobacteria, and I'm not the only one who thinks that. So I will try to look into this a little bit, because it actually can cause more disbalance in the pot. And yeah, I just want to check actually what we're dealing with. And it happens in pond too, organic mixes. So I think it's cyanobacteria. I think this is something that also happens in aquaria. So aquarium grows. Is this the roots? Oh my God. Shut up, Miro. I think those were the roots. But anyway, back to cyanobacteria. I think people who have aquariums will know more about this. It's also the smell that gives it away. Apparently algae shouldn't smell, or so says the Google. Like, one of the ways to like distinguish cyanobacteria, it's also by the color. It does smell what we do have in the pots, especially like if you have reservoirs and transparent pots or translucent pots, and the light gets in there and that stagnant water, it starts to really smell bad. I have no idea what's happening here. There is the shoot of margravia that is starting to grow. I'm trying to keep all the roots. I'm trying to remove as much moss as possible. So I think my suspicion was correct about this plant. I think I was just giving it a little bit too much consistent watering. I mean, I think it wants to stay moist, but maybe it was too much. Or maybe I let it dry out and then watered it all of a sudden. But anyway, the crispiness that we got is not sexy, and I hope I can do a better job of growing this plant, because I would really love to grow a really nice specimen. It's honestly the reason why I made the order. Well, that and emblemanthus, and I found some new emblemanthus, so. I could have done a better job, but I also could have done a worse job. I'm gonna repot that no ID begonia that I have here. Still no ID. Just gonna put that mix in there, and let's hope for the best. I really need a second camera on me or somewhere so you can see everything. Now maybe you can see a better look of that begonia. I got several potential IDs, but I don't think they're a match. I do agree with a friend telling me it's a bit too generic right now to tell, so maybe we just need to wait so she's not so generic. Yeah, this plant, this Sonerilla, is still not rehydrated. So I think what I will do is I will leave like a full pot of mix for her, because I do want to make sure there is enough potting mix for that. Ooh, so sexy. Yum, yum, yum. Because these have mix in them, I'm just, filling in around it. Ooh. This is also a seedling. I think this is a seedling of Cleopatra that my friend had. And it looks quite interesting. I really like this one. I also don't think this is necessarily a terrarium species, but, we're gonna put her there or not. Maybe some of these will stay in my IKEA small greenhouses. I just really love the subtle flowers of begonias. Most of the Hoyas I will leave in the pots that they are in, so like small cups. It's not gonna match perfectly, but I'm not gonna put them in these because these are too big for the Hoyas that I'm gonna put in there. I do have this ficus. It needs to be repotted. Maybe it's a bit silly, but I'm gonna put him in here. And then he will need support really quickly. I have never grew one. Oh, that's a very peculiar situation here that we have. Yeah, that doesn't look as cute now, but it will establish the vertical growth. So I will have to very quickly decide what can this mount on, what it can grab on. We still have a bit of mix left. I'm gonna repot this Nautilocalix in the same mix. God help it. I think this might be the wrong mix for this plant, but lol, you only live once. Especially if you're a plant, you only live once. So we shall see how that goes. Thoughts and prayers. Just checking the plant. It's so beautiful. The leaves are really, really nice. And the amount of fuzz is insane in the petioles. I really hope she makes it. I mean, she's doing really well, but I'm about to mess it up, probably. This method with like using the pot is just so good because for sensitive plants, you don't disturb them. Much easier to do it this way. Okay, I have a little bit of mix left here. That's maybe one pot or two, depending on the plant. So I do think I'm gonna stop here. I kind of lied to you. See, I have 4, 5 more pots left. Oh my goodness. I do have more than 5 plants left to repot. I have some of the begonias here. These are propagation from my plants. I do have a big one. I essentially didn't like how they arrived, but I think I might put these even out. I don't know. Maybe I will put them on my Gesneriad wall. I will just check if these absolutely need to be grown in terrariums. I don't think so. I don't think they need to. I do not have space to move. Yeah, this one is a bit raggedy because I underwatered it many times. I actually think if I just fix it up a bit, it can look nice. I will leave one of them in the terrarium for sure. I just have to select which specimen, and I could probably gift the rest. Oh no! This one is drowning. Oh my god. Because the sprinkler went in there and this pot doesn't have drainage. Some of them, I forgot, don't have drainage. Okay, girl is drowning. Oh my god. Oh no. I'd say she got overwatered. Shoot, shoot, shoot. Well, let's check the roots. Oh, she wet. This is not nice. Oh no. This is just really not nice. Like the moss is soaping wet and this is vermiculite. Oh. Oh boy. Oh boy. What? Oh. It's disgusting. You can just hear by the sound. Oh, I don't like it. I don't like it. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. Ugh. It's like, oh, this is just, it looked like a mermaid hand. I think we need to take this one to the bathroom and clean it off. Well, you know what? It's actually not that bad. Yeah, they're all sort of okay. Sometimes plants are disgusting, you know? If you're watching this for the first time and you don't have many plants, just know they are messy. I think this is the prettiest one. So maybe I will keep this one in the terrarium. I kind of also at the same time want to put them all together. But that's crazy, right? Yeah, I think I'm actually gonna do this off camera. I think I'm getting a little bit annoyed because there's so many plants here. I literally don't know what to do now. All right, so I am surrounded by plants. I literally don't know how I'm gonna get out of this. There's no way for me to get out. There are plants everywhere. Coffee plants. I will just see you in the next video and continue with my chores. It's disgusting. I feel disgusting. It's a lot of vermiculite on me that's just moist. Let me know how you are, how your week has been. I hope that this video sort of helped you ground yourself. We are now grounded, allegedly. We are neutral. I mean, it's fun. It's disgusting, but it's fun. And let me know what plant chores you did, what plants you repotted, and so on. This is going to permanently become part of me. It's gold. I'm like, my hands are of the Edward Cullen. I will now sparkle in light. But it's disgusting. Have a wonderful day. See you soon and goodbye from the Serbian Edward Cullen. Oh gosh, just ugh. I would like to take some time to thank all of my patrons for their incredible support. A massive shout out to my $5 patrons. My 2 anonymous patrons, Alex von Siebenthal, Amber Clear, and Margaret Munt, Angela Bernard, Angela Parrish, and C. Aspen Drake, Betsy, Brett Noble, Candy Taft, Catherine Molina, Christine Claire Cola, Daniela Danube Daniels, Daria Kaminska, Deborah Violet, Deli Heridia, Diane Sikorsky, Dipanjali Rao, Either W, Erin Keenan, Eleni Saxon, Ellen, M. Mortal, Farah, Gathering Moss, Gina Geise, Go Green Tropical, It's Kyle, Heather Uppingham, Hoji Scott, Hoya Heather, Yana Griffin, Jessica Chio, Jonas Barahjor Flarsen, Jovan Denot, Kara, Catherine P, Casey Gross, Callie Gallagher, Kelso, Kimberly Polka, Kiwi Mochi, Christy Ehrlich, Lisa Mary, MPLS, Lori J. Revert, Mandy Milliken, Marcel Har, Maria Stein, Marina Yarmolich, Mars B, Marty Miller, Mary Rose, Melissa Walker, Michael Curley, Michelle Heron, Nicole Ferranti, Mirka Grun Roos, Moa Edmond, Nelly Yang, Niha Basso, Nicole Maroney, Nanguin, Nita Macy, BJ Plan Druid, Rachel Peterson, Sandra Cornelius, Sherry Kumar, Sophia Rian, Stephanie H2O, Tessa Martins, Tia B, TJWO, Trista Bailey, Tristan Thomas, Wendy Rossman, Zenia Green, Youth of the Volumut, Zaira Rivera, Zordarama, and Zlakov Niponi. A big thank you to my $3 patrons: Angelina Farnan, Kilone Constance, Daryl De Rosario, Eden C, Catherine Parsons, Kent Brown, Elle Lindberg, Lindsay Ann, Mary H, Monica Wykers, Nella, Syke Zera, Renee Church, Ringlov Tang, Watanas Riakul, and Wendy Foreman. And a thank you to my $1 patrons: 1 anonymous patron, Alice Borland, Brandon Pacheco, Christina Greengrass, Colleen Coyle Levi, Couture Helvetica, Emilia Bronson, Jamie Arsenault, Jolie Sullivan, Kayla Vavra, Kelly Ash, Chris Perez, Lauren M, Lori N Subramanian, Buzmin Fernandez, Neely Spicer, Nerdy Kathy, Olivia Chinmuller, Sarah, and Tracy the Eyebeler.